Okay, let's try a little experiment. Picture yourself walking into the financial district of any major global city. New York, London, Singapore. You're standing in line for a coffee. What is the one piece of clothing you are practically guaranteed to see within, like, 5 seconds?
I think I know exactly where you're going with this. You're talking about the Midtown uniform.
Exactly. The fleece vest.
Right.
Or, if we're being precise and maybe a little bit pretentious, the gilet.
Right. It's become such a cliche that we almost stopped seeing it. It's just, it's background noise. A sea of navy blue and gray fleece.
It is. It's the uniform of the modern finance bro. But here's the thing. We usually dismiss it as just, laziness. Offices are cold. Sleeves are annoying when you're typing.
Mm-hmm.
But we're looking at a deep dive today that suggests that is a massive oversimplification. We're pulling apart a breakdown from Business Insider titled, "On HBO's Industry, Your Vest Says More About You Than Your Resume."
This is a fascinating piece because it uses the show industry as a lens.
Right.
For anyone listening who hasn't seen it, Industry is this high-octane drama about young bankers in London. It's famous for being brutally accurate about the burnout and the jargon.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But this article argues that the costume designer, Laura Smith, has actually built a sociologically perfect model of how power really looks in the modern workplace.
So it's basically a taxonomy of the corporate ladder, stitched into polyester and wool.
It is. And the mission for us today is to decode that. Because while it looks like everyone is dressing the same, they absolutely are not.
Okay.
We're going to uncover what they call the sartorial hierarchy. We'll explain why looking brand new is a liability, how your neighborhood dictates your style, and this is the part that I think will really surprise people.
Go on.
Why wearing a tie might be the single biggest sign of weakness you could display in a meeting.
That tie point completely flipped my perspective on dressing for success. But let's start at the foundation, the vest. The gilet. In the show and in real life, these things are everywhere. But the article makes a very, very sharp distinction. Not all vests are created equal.
Not at all. Laura Smith, the designer, draws a hard line between two specific tribes, the professional class and the aristocrats.
Okay, that's a crucial divide right there.
It is. On one side, you have what Smith calls the technical vest. This is what you see on the grinders. The analysts working 100-hour weeks.
So purely utilitarian.
Exactly. It's usually padded, maybe a bit sporty. Think North Face, Patagonia, or, those generic corporate fleeces with the bank's logo on the chest.
Right.
The message there is, I am practical. I am here to work. I am part of the machinery.
Okay, so that's the professional class. What does the aristocrat wear?
Well, you take a character like Henry Muck or his uncle, Lord Norton. In the show, these guys represent old money. I mean, they own the land the bank is built on.
Ah, okay.
They are not wearing technical gear. Lord Norton is seen wearing a very specific vest from a brand called Shuffle.
Shuffle. Now, for those of us who aren't landed gentry, what is Shuffle?
It's a luxury outdoor brand, but not fashion luxury. It's countryside luxury. It's associated with shooting, hunting, that kind of thing.
I see.
The specific vest, the Oakham fleece, costs about $320.
$320. I mean, that's expensive for a fleece, but it's not exactly a $5,000 suit. It's accessible.
And that's the trick. It's not about the price tag. It's about the code. In the UK, that specific Shuffle fleece is sometimes jokingly called the Cotswolds Mafia uniform. By wearing that into a city office, a character like Lord Norton is sending a very specific signal. He's saying, I might be physically in this office, but my head and my real life is at my country estate.
I see. So the technical vest says, I belong to the office.
Yeah.
The Shuffle vest says, the office belongs on my land.
Precisely. It's a subtle power move. It signals that banking is something he does, not something he is. It separates him from the people who need that paycheck.
It's incredible how much information is packed into a piece of fabric. But the analysis goes even deeper than just rich versus working.
It does.
The article points out that industry uses clothing to map out the geography of London itself.
This is a detail I absolutely love because it shows how fragmented the finance world really is. It's not a monolith. In London, you have two main financial poles. You have Canary Wharf and you have Mayfair.
Break that down for us. What's the vibe difference?
Canary Wharf is the new money hub. Massive glass skyscrapers, big trading floors, very aggressive, very high volume.
Wall Street in the 80s?
Exactly. Loud and fast.
In Mayfair.
Mayfair is the historic center. Hedge funds, private wealth management, family offices. It's physically different townhouses, private clubs, quiet streets. And the costume designer codes the characters based on this.
So you can tell which neighborhood a character works in just by looking at them.
Yes. Take the character Quabana. He works at a private wealth firm, so that's deep Mayfair territory. His look is described as sleeker, more expensive, maybe a bit more European or Italian in the cut. It's darker, more muted. It just screams private money.
And you contrast that with the Canary Wharf look.
You compare him to Kenny, who is an alum of Pierpoint, the big bank in the show. His style calls back to Bishopsgate and Canary Wharf. It's a bit louder, a bit more bro-y.
A little shinier.
Maybe the suit is a little shinier, the fit is a little more aggressive. Even if they're both wearing suits, the texture tells you if they're hunting for commissions or managing a billion-dollar trust.
Like a secret handshake. If you don't know the code, you just see men in suits.
But if you know the code, you're reading a map.
Yeah.
And that map tells you exactly where you stand in the hierarchy.
Speaking of hierarchy, we have to talk about quiet luxury, because I feel like over the last couple of years, this term has been beaten to death.
Oh, yeah. Stealth wealth.
Right. We've been told it means wearing a $500 beige t-shirt that looks like a Hanes undershirt. But the industry costume team in this article, they just take a sledgehammer to that idea. They argue that most people get quiet luxury completely wrong.
This is probably the most insightful part of the whole analysis for me. The show distinguishes between the aspirants, the people trying to climb the ladder, and the establishment.
Okay.
And the difference isn't the brand. It's the age of the clothes.
The age? You mean like vintage shopping?
No, not vintage in a cool, curated way. I mean actual wear and tear. There's this incredible scene described in the article where the characters go to a country house for the weekend. You have Whitney, who is an aspirant. He's incredibly successful, but he's not old money. He wants to look the part.
So what's he wear?
He shows up dressed perfectly. The designer says he's wearing the wax jacket, the corduroys, the Tattersall check shirt, the good leather boots. Visually, he looks like a page of a Ralph Lauren catalog.
Sounds like he nailed it.
He nailed the costume. But the problem is, as the designer notes, it's all brand new. It's stiff. The wax on the jacket hasn't cracked yet. The boots aren't scuffed. It screams, I went shopping for this event.
He bought the country gentleman starter pack.
Exactly. Now, compare him to Henry, the actual aristocrat. He's also wearing a wax jacket. But his is described as ancient. It's molded to his body. It smells like wet dog and rain. It has seen 20 seasons of bad weather.
That is such a subtle burn. The rich guy looks messier, but that messiness is the actual status symbol.
Because you can't buy history. You can walk into a store and buy a Barber jacket today. You cannot buy a jacket that your father wore for 10 years and then gave to you to wear for another 10.
Right.
That battered jacket signals lineage. It says, I have been doing this since I was a child. This isn't a costume for me. This is just my clothes.
That's a really powerful distinction. We tend to think looking sharp means looking pristine. But in these circles, pristine implies you're new. You're a tourist.
It's the confidence of indifference. If your clothes are too perfect, it betrays a certain anxiety. You're trying to get it right.
You're trying too hard.
The old money characters simply are right, regardless of the mud on their boots. They don't have to try.
The confidence of indifference. I love that. And it actually transitions perfectly to the next topic, which is about the complete opposite of indifference. Company merch.
Oh, the startup hoodie. The Silicon Valley tuxedo.
Right. In the real world, we're used to seeing the CEO, the Zuckerberg types, plastered in their own logos. It's almost a requirement. If you run the company, you wear the t-shirt.
That is the common perception. It's usually seen as a sign of commitment. I am the brand is me.
Yeah.
But industry flips this in a way that I found really, really strategic.
So in the show, there is this company called Tender. It's a fictional payments processor. And you have Whitney, again, he's the one running the show at Tender. He's the operator. He has the vision.
He wants Tender to be a bank killer. He has grand ambitions.
And the costume designer points out a specific rule they had for him. Whitney never wears the company merch.
Never. The designer says he might wear the company colors once, but never the logo. Yeah. Now, you contrast that with his co-founder, Jonah, or Henry, who eventually steps in as a figurehead CEO. They are covered in Tender logos. They wear the t-shirts, the fleeces, everything. They are walking billboards.
So why does the real power player refuse the logo? Is he ashamed of it?
No, it's a power flex. The article explains that wearing the merch marks you as an employee. Even if you're the CEO, if you're wearing the logo, you are signaling that you are serving the company.
You're a mascot.
You're a mascot. You're tied to the ship. Whitney, by not wearing it, is signaling that he is distinct from the brand. He owns the equity, he pulls the strings, but he has an identity outside of tender. He's a political operator. It's a way of saying, I can walk away from this and still be me.
That is a brilliant psychological detail. It implies that the person wearing the logo is, on some level, a cheerleader.
Yeah.
And the person in the unbranded cashmere sweater is the owner.
It separates the help from the management, even at the executive level. And it really makes you rethink what you see at tech conferences.
Sure.
The guy in the suit might actually be more powerful than the guy in the branded hoodie simply because he's maintaining that distance.
It's all about leverage. If you need the brand to define who you are, you have less leverage than the guy who defines the brand.
Bingo.
Okay, we've covered the casual side, the vests, the beat-up jackets, the hoodies, but we have to talk about the most traditional symbol of finance, the tie.
The tie. This is where the show really subverts our expectations.
Growing up, the tie was the ultimate symbol of corporate power, the power tie. Red silk, double Windsor knot, Gordon Gekko style.
Right.
If you were the boss, you wore the tie.
Historically, yes. The tie was armor. It was part of the uniform of dominance. But the workplace has changed. We've had the casualization of the office, the rise of tech culture, the post-pandemic shift.
The tie isn't the default anymore.
It's not. So in industry, which is set right now, when do people actually wear ties? Because they clearly still exist.
Yeah.
Laura Smith has a very specific rule for this in the latest season. She says a tie is essentially only worn in a scenario when someone is asking for something they really need.
Whoa, wait, let that sink in for a second. The tie isn't a power move, it's a begging move.
Supplication is the word that comes to mind. It's deferential. It signals respect, sure, but it also signals a lack of leverage. It says, I am coming to you on your terms because I need your help.
Can you walk us through an example from the show where this plays out?
There's a perfect one with Whitney. Again, remember, he's the no merch, cool operator guy. He usually wears open collars, very relaxed.
Right.
But there is a scene where he needs to convince Henry, the aristocrat, to take the CEO job. He needs Henry's name and his connections.
So what does he wear to the meeting?
He puts on a tie. He dresses up.
Yeah.
He is paying homage to Henry's old money status. He is visually lowering himself to say, I respect your position. Please help me.
That's fascinating. It's almost like a costume of submission.
And it happens again with Eric. Eric is the toughest, scariest banker on the show. He's a shark.
Okay.
He usually wears open collars, very aggressive style. But when he has to go cap in hand to ask for capital for his firm,
the tie comes out.
The tie comes on. And the crazy thing is, in both cases, it works. Whitney gets Henry. Eric gets the money.
So the lesson isn't never wear a tie. The lesson is know why you are wearing the tie.
Exactly. It's a tool of diplomacy. If you walk into a negotiation where you need a favor, but you're dressed like you own the place, open collar, relaxed, you might be misreading the room.
You could come off as arrogant.
Completely. The tie disarms the other person. It flatters them.
It's weaponized formality.
That is a great way to put it. It's using tradition to grease the wheels. But if you are the one with all the leverage, you probably don't need the silk noose around your neck.
This whole deep dive really makes you realize that business casual isn't casual at all. It's just a different, more complicated language.
It's actually harder to navigate than the old days. 50 years ago, everyone wore a gray suit. It was simple. Now you have to decide. Am I a technical vest guy or a shuffle guy? Is my jacket too new?
Should I wear the logo or not? Should I wear a tie, or is that showing weakness?
It's exhausting just thinking about it.
It is, but it's also a game. And if you know the rules, you can play it to your advantage.
Absolutely.
So let's try to recap this for the listener, because there are some really actionable takeaways here, even if you don't work in a London skyscraper.
Definitely.
First, look at the condition of the clothes. We talked about the aspirant versus old money.
Right. If you're trying to project stability and authority, looking brand new isn't always the move. Don't be afraid of items that show a little history. A pristine appearance can signal you're new to the game.
And a lived-in look signals you're a veteran.
It shows you're comfortable. Second, the branding paradox.
This is a big one.
If you are a leader, think carefully about wearing the company logo. It's great for morale, sure. But if you want to signal that you are a strategic operator with independence, sometimes plain clothes are the ultimate power move. It shows you're the asset, not the mascot.
It establishes a boundary. And finally, the strategic tie.
Use the tie when you need to bridge a gap. If you're asking for money, a promotion, or a favor, the tie isn't stiff. It's a sign of respect that can get you what you want. But don't wear it if you're trying to dominate the room.
If you want to show you hold the cards, lose the tie.
Exactly.
It's funny, we often hear that manners make the man, but in this case, it seems like tailoring makes the hierarchy.
It's true. We like to think we live in a meritocracy where only the numbers matter, especially in finance. But humans are visual creatures. We are constantly scanning each other for clues about tribe, status, and intent. The clothes are just the data points we use.
So here is a question for you to mull over as you get dressed for your next big meeting. We live in a world where you can buy almost any look. You can buy the quiet, luxury aesthetic online in 5 minutes.
But as we discussed, you can't buy the timeline.
Exactly. So is wear and tear the only unfakeable status symbol left? In a world of fast fashion and instant gratification, is the threadbare elbow on a jacket the only thing that proves you've actually put in the time?
And ask yourself this. When you walk into that meeting room, are you dressing for the job you want, or are you dressing for the leverage you have? Because as we've learned today, those might be two very different outfits.
Thanks for diving deep with us today.
Always a pleasure.